Space Adventure Cobra is one of those legendary names in anime that doesn't always get the mainstream spotlight that it deserves. But its influence is everywhere, building a cult following that still thrives to this day. Carried on through anime, films, and, as of today, video games. Today, I am reviewing Space Adventure Cobra: The Awakening, a modern passion project that reimagines the classic series for fans new and old. Space Adventure Cobra was created by Buichi Terasawa in 1978, debuting in Weekly Shonen Jump. Terasawa had been a student of Osamu Tezuka, the legendary god of manga, and early in his career, that man worked at Tezuka Productions. With this foundation, Terasawa developed his own distinct vision, melding pulp fiction action, sci-fi, and mature themes. This made his work stand out from the more youthful heroes dominating manga at the time. I talk a lot more about the legendary god of manga, his teacher, in more of my other videos, like Blood Will Tell. Terasawa was also a pioneer in digital art, later becoming one of the first manga creators to use computers in the manga making process. Terasawa once said that his inspirations, Cobra's essence, was born from the fusion of Western and Japanese influences. With characters like James Bond, specifically the Sean Connery Roger Moore era of James Bond, he wanted Cobra to inherit Bond's charm, humor, confidence, and womanizing flair. Cobra's look and personality were modeled from Jean-Paul Belmondo, embodying his rugged charisma and playfulness. The world was inspired by Moebius and Metal Heart. With its surreal cosmic aesthetic of European sci-fi comics shaping the atmosphere and visual design, and Star Wars heavily influencing Cobra's galactic battles, bounty hunters, and its empires. Terasawa designed Cobra as a hero who wasn't a typical shonen boy protagonist. Instead of being young and naive, Cobra was older, self-aware, and he deliberately chooses a life of adventure. He's a playboy, an anti-hero, and a fearless gunfighter in space. Space Adventure Cobra, while not as globally mainstream as Dragon Ball or Naruto, still left a powerful mark on anime and manga. Its DNA can be seen in later space operas like Cowboy Bebop and Outlaw Star, which share Cobra's mix of slick, stylish heroes, bounty hunting escapades, and noir-esque cosmic setting. Space Adventure Cobra is a classic anime that is a must-watch for old heads like me, that love great movies, OVAs, and classic TV shows. That is what directly inspired the game itself. Space Adventure Cobra: The Awakening was developed by Magic Pockets and published by Microids. Magic Pockets has been making games since 2001 and was a one-time subsidiary of Take-Two Interactive, but most of their games were made as an independent company. Now that doesn't mean they haven't created games for many companies, almost exclusively making licensed games like Harry Potter, The Sims, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Miraculous, The House of the Dead, Baldur's Gate. They've worked on everything and anything. Well, while none of those were hit games, mind you, they have worked in the gaming industry to some extent for 24 fucking years. And this seems to be a passion project from Magic Pocket Studios because of the levels they went to make this accurate to an 80s television show. We play as the legendary space pirate Cobra, a famous outlaw feared by the Pirates Guild, the largest crime syndicate in the galaxy, placing a massive bounty on his head, so big that Cobra decided to fake his own death, change his appearance, and erase his memories. All of this just to escape them. After a few years, Cobra is total recalled and regains his memories, reigniting his war with the Pirates Guild. Most of the game's story involves the treasure tattoo arc. 3 sisters have a tattoo on their back that leads to a legendary treasure that is left in one piece. Unironically, Space Adventure Cobra could have inspired One Piece with its secret weapon treasure arc. Space Adventure Cobra: The Awakening is a direct adaptation of the first 13 episodes of Space Adventure Cobra's TV show. So if you've seen the show, you know exactly what's going to happen. So legitimately, if I were going to complain about aspects of the story, like the final villain being random as shit, I would be complaining about the anime itself. So my biggest gripe with the story is that it's too accurate to the anime. I don't like where the anime goes compared to where the anime movie goes that I have watched recently. I mean, come on, Crystal Bowie is so cool! Almost everything I've seen about this game tells me that Magic Pocket loved the anime. You're playing through the Blu-ray version of a legendary anime. And that is clearly what the team wanted. Let me repeat. They wanted to make a direct adaptation. A direct adaptation. There are no missions in Space Adventure Cobra. You are playing through episodes, and these are accurate to each and every episode. So if there's multiple action scenes in an episode, those episodes are longer, and there's more missions. Theoretically, if you were speedrunning the game and not searching for all the secrets like I was, the mission's length, in some cases, would actually match up to the length of each episode. Now that's dedication. Now, of course, everything is gamified, right? But you are meant to feel like you're playing this anime, and it works. It's effective. There are moments where there's just a level and a mechanic designed around what happened in that episode. Falling through a pipe because, well, that's what happened in the anime. And that's the only time it appears in the entire game. I never played a game that made me feel like it actually represented the show or the anime that I was enjoying. Especially after playing Blade 2 for this channel. Presentation-wise, this might actually be one of the best adaptations I've ever played in gaming. Gameplay is a mission-based Metroid. Most of the game revolves around collecting upgrades, like climbing gear, getting armor-piercing pistols, using CQC for shielded enemies, obtaining explosive cigars that pierce through 2 different types of shields, and my favorite, the homing shots that you control. This is what makes this game so unique. This is used for solving puzzles, fighting enemies, platforming, and on special occasions, all 3. Cobra is a monster that can't be stopped, and this game makes you feel the power of the Psyco-gun, a weapon that converts Cobra's willpower, mental energy into destructive force, a gun that responds instantly to Cobra's thoughts. He doesn't need to pull a trigger, he simply wills it to fire, and it will hit anything he wants to destroy. The issue with Cobra: The Awakening is the movement. It is fast, almost too fast, and a bit sloppy. Sometimes you need to be precise, but then you end up grabbing a ledge you didn't want to, or you're running into traps, taking damage you shouldn't be taking. This has you messing up more complex platforming, puzzles, and even the harder boss fights. And the game is surprisingly very glitchy for a side-scroller. I've had assets not load properly, soft locking me, and getting trapped inside of walls, making me restart the game. And the checkpoints in this game make Cobra a bit too easy. What is the challenge if I just respawn with full health every single time I die? Now sometimes this is rectified, but most of the time there's no punishment for failure. But having said that, I love the intricate platforming, the creative boss fights, and the level design that rewards you for speedrunning and exploring. I love killing enemies because, unlike a lot of games, you have multiple ways of killing different enemy types. Look at these guys with the red shields. I could shoot around them, I could blow them up with my cigar, or I could just destroy their shields with my pistol. Maybe I could just use my screen clear if I'm lazy. And the boss fights actually want you to use your Psyco-gun and your other tools to defeat them. Some bosses can only get hit by physical attacks, others can only get hit by homing shots, and even a giant Medusa fight where I had to use my grappling hook to stay off the ground and dodge attacks. The implementation of Cobra's weaponry and gear is masterclass. After playing Blade 2, this game almost felt like a reward to me, being able to come home after work and grind the missions for 5 to 10 hours. What's that? You want to know something else that is surprisingly awesome about this game? It is way longer than a side-scroller should be. I spent 10 to 12 hours playing it and I didn't even unlock everything yet. This game is so dense with content for a modern day side-scroller. That's not a Metroidvania. It is just a Metroid-like. Now, my final thoughts on the game are that I loved it. And I think Buichi Terasawa would love it himself. I mean, up until this guy's death, he was working on a webcomic sequel named Cobra Over the Rainbow. That's how much he loved this series. And I think this game represents everything Terasawa would want this game to represent. And that says a lot for a video game adaptation. If you're an old head who likes old anime, or just someone who likes Metroid style games or side-scrollers, I think this is a great game to pick up. Does it have flaws? Yes, but everything else is just peak if you ask me. This is just my opinion, but I had a great time with this game. Flaws and all. So if you like this video and want to see more of my reviews or some of the stuff I've reviewed if you like this video and would like to see some of my other reviews, I do retro and new games all the time, and sometimes I like to do news. So like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.